You are about to see how I audit Instagram accounts to make sure they're set up with the basics so that my students can increase conversion of followers. And the best part, I'm auditing your Instagram profiles. What's up everyone, it's Modern Millie. Welcome back to my channel where I post videos every Wednesday teaching you the latest strategies and trends to help you grow your brand. So give a little love tap on that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest tips and tricks that I have for you. First, I want to say a huge thank you to this video's shoutouts. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. So if you want to get a shout out in one of my future videos, screenshot yourself watching this video and tag me on Instagram stories or leave a comment below and subscribe to my channel. And a bonus shout out to Heroes Point, who actually gave me the idea for today's video. As always, timestamps will be in the comments down below because I know how valuable your time is and you already know why you're here. So let's get into it. Last month, I did a 50K giveaway on my Instagram where I raffled 2 winners to win these Instagram audits, and those winners were, boom. And in this video, I'll be doing their audits along with Heroes Point, who will also get an audit for, giving me the idea for this video suggestion. In case you guys don't know, I also do monthly audits in my Patreon group, so I'll be sure to link my Patreon group down below. Let's jump into the audits. So the first profile that we're going to take a look at is MegMo_22, and Meg is an influencer coach, and I'm just gonna kind of use her profile to tell you guys the checklist of everything that I look at in order, and then we'll go a little bit deeper as we do the other 2 audits. The first thing that I look at is the profile photo and your username and if they make sense together, because you want your profile to be clickable. Before somebody even lands on your profile, the first 2 things they see are your profile photo and your username. And if those aren't eye-catching enough, or if it doesn't entice them to click and see more, you won't even get people to land on your page and you won't give them the opportunity to follow you. So the first thing that I'm noticing is Meg's title says influencer coach, but I'm not seeing her as an influencer coach with her name. And she has a really good smiling picture, so I always recommend showing your face in your profile photo, making eye contact with the camera. She has that check marked box checked. She has that box checked. I would actually do a closer headshot, maybe get a little bit more intimate, closer with natural lighting, maybe by a window to brighten up her face, and then use that as like an influencer coach. Because when I think of coach, it's almost like this professionalism that you want to captivate people with that profile photo. And then along with that little advice of like enhancing that profile photo just a little bit more, taking it over the edge a little bit more, is making your username match what you want to be known for. So if you want to be known as an influencer coach, you can tie that into your username, because typically our usernames with too many characters or symbols or numbers is hard to remember, and you want people to be able to quickly search for you and your profile. I think a great username option might be like influence with Meg. That makes a little bit more sense and makes me be like, oh, okay, what's this profile about? So that's the first thing. And then the second is have a bio. You want your bio to say who you are, what you do, who you do it for. And I'm not seeing a bio. So make sure you have a bio introducing yourself, maybe where you're located, your email address if you plan to work with brands, and some sort of link to another platform that people can find you on. Now, those are kind of like just as I go through, that's what I look at. Then I look at the highlight covers. So highlight covers, I would make them a little bit more cohesive. So I love how the food one has a blue highlight image to it. So maybe do the blue on all of them and have the blue fitness, blue motivation. Just keep it consistent there, because I do notice with this graphic you recently posted, there's blue or like this teal color to it. So maybe that's, even in this image, blue, teal I'm seeing again, maybe that is something you can consider as a brand color that you could continue to incorporate throughout your entire feed. Cool? Cool. It looks like Meg might be in the transition of being or wanting to be known as an influencer coach. When I think of influencer coach, I want the profile and the photos to scream that as well. There's a fine line between balancing like your personal life and your personal brand, because when you have a personal brand, it feels like everything is personal, therefore you have to post everything. So my personal brand, it's like, well, I should also post about my dog. I should also post about my husband. I should also post about food, because that's my personal life and this is my personal brand. But that's not necessarily true. When you have your personal brand, you should have like 3 to 5 content pillars that you post about. For you as a influencer coach, or for Meg as an influencer coach, I wouldn't expect to see a lot of family photos in that feed. I'm not saying you can't post family photos. I'm saying it wouldn't be the most reoccurring theme of a feed. That balance is really, really hard to find, and it's going going to look a little bit different for everybody, so I'm not going to say, hey, you should do this and you should do this, because at the end of the day, these audits are just like me judging a book by its cover. I haven't talked to Meg and I haven't figured out what are your goals, what are your passions, what do you want to do with Instagram? Do you even want to do anything with Instagram, right? This is just me coming from a coach standpoint, pretending, hey, if Meg wants influencer coach to take over her 9-to-5 and become her full-time job, here are some tips, right? That's the mindset I'm going into. That might not be her goals. So all these tips, they're kind of subjective depending on the person's goals. There's Meg's profile. Thank you so much for letting me kind of dissect this and go over some of the basics that I look through when doing an Instagram audit. And now we're going to the next person. Okay, next we have Leah or Leah. I'm gonna say Leah, so sorry if that's wrong, don't hate me. But for Leah Books. Now this is a great example of really eye-catching profile photo. I don't know why I love this, what's the word, animated photo so much, but I really love it. And even your username, Leah Books, very clear who you are, what you're about. Not only that, but the profile photo colors match very well the consistency of your overall feed. So the highlight covers, even some of the graphics and quotes that you integrate throughout your feed, the coloring is very consistent throughout. I do really love the bio so far. I appreciate the clear call to action for a freebie. You guys know I love freebies with email list building, so like link, free book, follow link. So I think that's a really great idea to direct people to another platform of yours. If you want to step up the bio even more, I would start to talk about who you're doing it for in the bio. So it's clear who you are and what you do, but who do you do it for? Who's your target audience? Who are you trying to reach? Your books, who are they geared towards? Is it youth? Is it adults? Is it just women, or is it women and men? Like, who are you trying to reach? And make that a little bit more clear in the bio. So that's kind of getting a little bit nitty gritty. Just wanted to say maybe that's one thing that you can do to oomph the bio a bit. And then going into the actual feed, some feedback that I would have for you is to stray away from using stock images. I say that hesitantly because you absolutely can use stock photos, but I would use stock photos when you're able to use it consistently from one user, one provider, one creator. For example, this photo. This looks like it's stock image, but it's beautiful. It's clean, and it also integrates your brand colors really well because it has that cleanliness to it, the peachy tones. I think overall, it might be more of the vibe that you're going for with your profile. So if you could continue to use stock photos like this from this user or creator with the same editing style, that's going to take your feed to the next level, because I can see how these stock images change by creator. So this one, it's not as strongly your brand. Even the fonts and the text here, it's different than the fonts that you use on your own graphics. As you start to level up, you have to make those minor tweaks to make sure all of that consistency is there. The same colors, the same fonts, right? You want to use like the same 3 fonts for everything. And then on top of that, for the photos that you do take yourself, challenge yourself to edit them the same way as well. So instead of doing a little bit black and white and then a little bit like this one has more yellow tones to it, try to edit each photo with the same preset or the same way every single time. And again, it only increases that consistency on your feed. Okay, so for the last profile that I'm going to audit, this is Heroes Point, and I am not an expert in superhero stuff. I'm also not an expert in growing accounts where the accounts mostly reshare and repurpose imagery. I'm mostly an expert with like creating fresh content. So I will do my best. The first thing I noticed is the profile photo though. I see that you said follow today for more superhero content. Love that. It's very clear what it's for, but I would like your profile photo to be even more clear, and maybe even it being an image of a superhero, right? I think that's something, seeing like Captain America is something that might get more clicks to your profile to start off with. I do like that you have a hashtag where this can build community, and I think it's great for your specific type of account to build traction and awareness. I think a fun way to incorporate that hashtag a little bit more is maybe every day share some of your favorite posts onto your stories of people who use that hashtag and tag them and just give them some love, because that's only going to build your community even more. Every time I've come to your profile the past few days, I've noticed that there hasn't been a story, but you post daily. Like, your consistency is great, but the story presence isn't as active. Like I said, it builds community. Go through those hashtags and start sharing some highlight posts that, you know, maybe they weren't feed worthy for you to repurpose, but you're like, hey, honorable mention, you know, tag them on your stories and build that community so they can continue to use your hashtags and they're like, oh, cool, like they noticed me, I want to do this again. So that's just a suggestion for kind of a growth and community build. Now it says DM for business inquiries. Maybe it's just because I'm not part of this niche. I don't know what that means. So it's like DM for like collaboration requests, like get a little bit more specific. For me, it's hard for me to understand what business inquiries mean. It is very a vague term. My next feedback is just getting really, really picky, and that's sharing images where there's like that banner here, you know? So, and you can share pictures with this banner, but maybe not have it be the first image of the carousel. So maybe your first image for the carousel was this image because it fills up the entire screen. So it really fills up your feed with goodness. And then you could have these ones where there's bars in the rest of the carousel. Just, it does fill the feed with goodness, like I said. So I noticed it's not all the time where that has happened, but I did notice the further I scrolled back, there was a few with white borders. So just wanted to comment on that. And I did notice with all of the hashtags that you use, you change it per post. And I think that's brilliant. I suggest to keep doing that, keep changing it per post so that it's always relevant to whatever you're posting about. But to increase engagement and increase your community, always make sure you're replying to comments, because people are commenting on this and they're like, oh my gosh, love it, woo. Reply to them. Ask them questions. If you have a comment, reply to it. This person says thank you, reply to them, you're welcome, and or even like, love your work, love your art, things like that. So that's kind of the last tips that I have for this specific account. So that's basically it for the audits. If you guys like this style video, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see from me more, if this is helpful for you. If you've made it this far and you're not already subscribed, hug that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification so you don't miss when I post my videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Follow your joy. Bye.